undertook to do one thing, that indeed I also have to reciprocate. And that's why when Magoha was arrived, he made one request to me, saying he has a sister that he wanted the government to consider for something. And I want to inform you, the people who came, that when I discussed with His Excellency the President, he agreed to the request of Magoha, and that the sister is going to work in the government of Kenya. And also, the great scholar, I want to thank Maseno University because they agreed to give him a praise to come and teach and do research. And actually, it was only 10 days before him passing over, Vice Chancellor and the team, University Council. For that, we thank you so much. And for this campus, in memory of our late brother Professor, as government, I will be able to inform His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, and I'm sure that in memory of our good professor, we will be able to do more as far as this university is concerned. Now, I want all those from education ministry to stand up, because we are quite a number here. And as they stand, I ask my brother Omoro, PS Internal Security, also to come so that he can be able to introduce the principal secretary that is present here. And all those in Ministry of Education, please stand in memory of our brother. Thank you. Our brother Omoro is the PS Internal Security, and is also going to introduce. Welcome, Right Honorable Prime Minister. Welcome. So, yeah.
Asante sana. Ningeomba sote tuliosimama tupate kuketi. Ningeomba sote tuliosimama tupate kuketi, na maafisa wa itifaki, protocol officers, kindly make sure all our guests are seated. Ningeomba ikiwa wewe ni mwanahabari, kuna sehemu maalum iliyotengwa. Kwa hivyo wapiga picha na waandishi wetu wapendwa, tuelekee kwa sehemu hizo teule. Vile vile ningeomba ukiwa mgeni kukushukuru kwa kuwasili, ila ni kuombe ushirikiane na maafisa wa itifaki wa kuelekeze sehemu ya kuketi. Niwakumbushe kwamba tuko kanisani, huku ikiwa tunaendelea na ibada ya wakfu, na niombe Mheshimiwa Tuju uendelee kutuelekeza kwa ratiba. Karibu.
Asante sana ndugu yangu. I think for our Nigerian in-laws, now you know you are at a Luo funeral in Siaya. Just in case you didn't know, now you know. Thank you very much. The Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga has arrived. When I talked with him on phone yesterday, he told me he'll be coming, but he did not tell me the style with which he will come. So he's come, and there's been a lot of excitement. So let me just ask everyone to get back to your seats, and we continue with the program. The person who is to speak next is Dr. Raymond Omolo, PS in the Office of the President. He had been invited to introduce the permanent secretaries who are in our midst. Thank you very much, PS.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Tuju. To the family of the late Professor Dr. Barbara, Michael, and the extended family, to the clergy, to the fourth President, and all elected leaders present and fellow mourners. Amoso ujo thura no ya ureuru. O ya ureuru kendo. Kawuono wabiro iko Professor. Mara chuok. Adwani I introduce principal secretaries mobiro kod wako Professor. Kindly may you allow me to introduce the PS in charge of basic education, Dr. Belio Kipsang. Just wave. And then there is the PS in charge of higher education, Dr. Beatrice Inyangala. One word to the family: it's never an easy thing to lose a loved one. Receive my sincere condolences on behalf of the ministry and the rest of the government. In my own personal capacity, we've had to interact to ensure that we have a decent send-off for Prof. I pray that the grace of the Almighty God be with you. Thank you.
I think we may have a little musical interlude while we are sorting out a few things and waiting for Raphael. Choir or DJ, weka kitu kidogo. Security people.
Thank you. Kaka na wacho nu ne liel wanyalo bedo gi program to nyaka wad just program kalure gi welo mawayudo. Omentiere adjustment moke program mung'iyo no. Agoero kamano kuom kwe muse bedo godo. Kendo I like to apologize for the seating arrangements. We tried our best, but it is not every day that as a family we have to organize something as big as this. So if there are any shortcomings, please forgive us. It's not because we slighted you, our guest. No, it's just because it was tough for us to organize a big thing like this from Nairobi to here at home and so forth. So I know that there's been a little bit of challenges with respect to the seating arrangements, especially for the VIPs. I'm going to ask, after consultation, that we'll have the eldest in the family now, who is John Obare, to come and make his remarks, and that will be followed by our in-law from Nigeria, who will come and make his remarks, and then we'll proceed from there. Thank you.
The church, to our beloved guests or visitors from Nigeria, to our retired President, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, to my dear sister-in-law, Odi, that is her nickname, but she's called Barbara. I know you know that I'm the one who came to represent East Africa when you were tulifuta wewe tukaleta wewe pande. So I represented the East Africa community. To all the guests, young and small, big and what, to my Aunt Elizabeth, who is the second follower of my mother, who is now 100 years old, and to everybody else who has taken his time or her time to come and help us mourn my brother George Omore. On behalf of my family, I say karibuni. Na pamoja na hiyo nasema asante. Kabla sijaendelea na maneno, nataka kuwashukuru watu wote ambao, all the people who participated
Asante sana DJ. Niombe kuheshimu kuwasili kwake kinara wetu mpendwa Injinia Daktari Raila Amolo Odinga. Na sasa niombe kwa heshima na taadhima kuu wengine wetu tupate kuketi ili kuruhusu ratiba kuendelea. Endelea ndugu.
I was in the middle of my speech when Raila Amolo Odinga, the former Prime Minister, and my friend came in. My greetings to you, Woodmun Bondo. I will now give a very brief speech on behalf of the Magoha family. As brief as the tail of a pig. Annus mirabilis. There have been many scholars here who know what annus mirabilis means. When the Queen had a problem with Prince Diana and Prince Charles, she sounded it by saying annus mirabilis. Translated means a very bad year. So we, the Magoha family, have had our annus mirabilis, but since we believe in God, we thank God for giving us our brother and for the life he lived. So in short celebration, we are celebrating his life, not mourning. Because even if we mourn until all the tears fill the ocean, we shall not bring him back. Who am I to pay tribute to Magoha? And you people have done it. The scholars, the politicians, the ordinary people from Samburu, from Kajiado, they have all spoken well about my brother. So there is no need for me to add anything. If I have to give myself 10 marks, I will only give myself that marks because I stayed with him during his primary education until his secondary education, and I also helped him to bring his beautiful wife, who is now his widow. One thing, you people who do not know Magoha, he has written a book, and that book has a lot. Why don't you buy it and read it? And this goes equally to my siblings. Most of you have not bought that book. You wanted to be given a complimentary like I was given, but you never got it. Instead of buying a whiskey, buy that book and read it. Just before he died, as has been mentioned here by Raphael, we were engaged in preparing the burial of his follower, Professor Richard Alexander Nyabera. We sat, he built for him his home because we had promised. He had gone away without the Luo procedure, no Wokie Simba. So he went without establishing a home. So we had to establish one for him. Now George spent a lot of money doing that. But on the week before he died, we sat in my house, relatives only, and we agreed that we should give a contribution, a token contribution towards bringing the body back, not for the house. And I, as the eldest, I was challenged. I had to move my seat near him because I don't have very good ears. Then we spoke. Luckily, I had some money on my phone. I transferred it to his phone. I told him, now I've set the ball rolling. And then I got other members of the family, and they raised the money which he wanted. And that money was to be raised within 48 hours. That is the last thing that he did publicly with me. We had our lunch, and he went away. That was on a Friday, Saturday. On Tuesday, I rang him and I asked him, when exactly is the body arriving so that we can meet it? I realized he wasn't talking very well. So I asked him, what is the problem? I am not feeling very well. Okawij maber. But I can manage. That is the last time we spoke. The next thing I heard from my wife the following day was that Professor was gone. Do not be discouraged. Those of you who are here, I'm now an old man. I've seen a lot. I saw my friend Agwings die, JM die. That has not stopped me from living. You have courage and work hard. Hakuna chabure. Mnasikia? Well, the fourth president has told you many times, hakuna chabure. Lakini mkijaribu mtapata. To my sisters, the two of them, and my brother Joseph, remain focused on what our mother's legacy, what George's legacy has been. To everybody else, those who loved my brother, have peace. Pray for him. If he wronged you, forgive him. Please, I repeat, forgive him, because nobody is perfect. Deo Wudinya Sakwa, goodbye.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my brother Obare. That was very well spoken. I'm going to ask Dr. Ifyok Isien, who is brother to Dr. Barbara Magoha, to come and make some remarks. Please, let's give him a chance. Yodala wa mantil o kokanyo wakwayo mondo uye mondo ulinge matin mondo welo mwa maboyo gi utie kwach.
Good morning, our lordships. Good morning, the fourth president of Kenya. Good morning, the former Prime Minister. My dear in-laws. Ukurumi. Jaikom Kenan. Asante, Asante. Thank you very much. You all know Professor Magoha as an adult, as a professor, a full, hard-working man. I knew Professor Magoha as a young man in the medical school. So like I used to tell him, a teacher was once a student. I was 3 years his senior. So the iron that you have seen today was forged in Nigeria, exactly in the College of Medicine of the University of Lagos. These are the features I saw of him. A hard-working young man, very sincere, extremely sincere. He worked very hard, and with him he had his siblings, Joe and Pauline. He came into our family, and let me use the word kindly. He applied to join our family. We are all families of doctors. My father was a doctor. 4 of my siblings are doctors. 3 of my children are doctors. So when he applied, we had to vet it very seriously. And when you see that we accepted him, you can see the product. You see the finished product. You see what he did to Kenya. God be praised. I didn't know that he will have a shorter life. He could have done more, but it appeared that hurry was because he had a lot to do, and he needed time to do it. He didn't have the time to finish what he wanted to do. But I thank God that whatever he did, he brought peace and joy. He was straightforward. He could step on anybody's toes, but you couldn't doubt one thing. He was very sincere. Please, George, rest in peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are almost reaching the end. Presiding priest, I like to just make a small explanation. I'm going to call upon the governor of Siaya to speak, but before I do that, before I call the governor of Siaya to speak, I like to call a person who you don't know is a relative actually in this home. Among us, the Luos, I did surprise the president that Professor Magoha was my cousin, and we kept it a secret because otherwise maybe we would have considered twice having cousins sitting in the same cabinet. But you may not be aware, but Ida Odinga is also related to the home. You've heard about Mama Elizabeth, who is 100 years old. Sister to Mama Elizabeth is Pauline Anyango. That is where Pauline Dola, she's actually Pauline Anyango Dola, gets her name from. And Pauline's daughter, which is an auntie to Professor Magoha, Pauline's daughter, Noela, is here. I don't know if Raymond is also here. Noela, would you please stand up if you are anywhere so we can acknowledge you? Yeah, that's Noela Oyo. And she's first cousin to Professor Magoha. She happens to be married to Ida Odinga's elder brother. You see how these things get mixed up? Yeah? And that's why I always tell my Luo brothers, don't hit somebody else. Don't be mean to somebody because you don't know where you're going to meet. You'll get very ashamed. Right? So, Madam Ida, if you'd like to come and say something, and I would like Noela, with your permission, can we also ask you just to stand so that we acknowledge you? Noela. Let's give Noela a clap, please.
To the family of Professor George Omore Magoha, my friend Barbara, and the others, I wish just to convey my sincere condolences to this family. Just as I think you can now hear me. Okay. Good. To the family of Professor George Omore Magoha, I would like to convey my sincere condolences and the family, from my family to your family. We've had a long connection with this family. Standing next to me is my sister-in-law. She was married to my brother that I come after in Bath, and she's a cousin to George Omore Magoha. Now, the long relationship did not just start with her. I think Pauline Magoha, now Pauline Dola, that was my student. The others, Joe was administration in my home. So I know the family very well. Now it is sad that we are losing George at this time when he's just at the prime of his life. In fact, this is the time that George was really coming out as the best. And then death, without warning, decided to take him away. Jodalawa, Jogame. Untie. An bende an nyar game. Anyar ukaya Buckingham Palace ka. Omiyo ka biro ka, literally, abiro ywago wadwa. To wago mos ni Jogame, to gi ji duto, and particularly those in the education sector, because the foundation that you put in the education center is very strong, and I hope it will be followed to the latter. Now, Okado Achomangeng, we just pray to God, may the Lord God rest his soul in eternal peace. Amen.
Thank you very much. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of another colleague of Professor Magoha. Eugene Wamalwa is with us here. Let's give him a clap. Thank you. Then there's Vice Chancellor Rasom Tum of Mombasa University. He also joined us. There are two more members of Parliament, Dr. Nyekal from Seme and Member of Parliament Opio Andai has also joined us. Thank you very much. I just like to make a few remarks as matter of encouragement before I ask our governor, who will in turn then invite the Prime Minister, who will in turn then invite the fourth President of the Republic of Kenya. I think at times like this, when there's no hope, sometimes, and I'm specifically addressing Dr. Michael Magoha, this is for you. There's a story. Some years ago, there was a little girl who lost both parents, and she was about 6 years old. And his uncle, a teacher, yes, I know that. Yes, okay. Sorry. I'm told there's Adipo Kwame and James Koyo, and just as a matter of protocol, we'll have Governor of Siaya speak. After that will be Honorable C.S. Owalo, who will read this President's speech. Then after that, it will be the Prime Minister. Then after that, His Excellency the President. That is the protocol. I've just been reminded. This I want to tell my son. There was a girl who was an orphan at age 6, and her situation was completely hopeless. Mother had passed on during the childbirth of our follower during those days, and the father died shortly after for reasons not known. And she was a 6-year-old girl, and her uncle, Alphonse Ndege, found her walking in the village naked like an animal. As a girl, those days, even if you are poor, you had some panties on. But this girl was walking naked like an animal. The uncle removed his vest, put the vest on this girl, and brought that girl to the Magoha home. And that girl, no father, no mother, 6 years old, no dress, just a vest which had been lent by her uncle. And Mama Sarah made for her her first dress, because Mama Sarah knew how to sew clothes. Mama Sarah is Professor Magoha's mother. She brought up that girl made for her clothes, gave her shelter. That girl later on got married, and out of that very desperate situation, I'm the son of that girl. So no situation can be completely hopeless. So you've lost your dad. It is painful, but you can't give up hope. Professor Nyong'o is not here, but I was told he sent his message. So I'm sorry I'll not give the chance to who was supposed to read the message. You'll give the message to the family. I'm going to ask Governor, Your Excellency, James Orengo to come and make your remarks. Then I'll invite the CS ICT, Mr. Wala. Thank you.
Kamano. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to the clergy who are presiding over this important occasion for our community, because this is the last day of a great son of Siaya, Professor Magoha. To Dr. Barbara Magoha, Dr. Michael Magoha, to the fourth President of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta. To the People's President, Raila Amolo Odinga. Nemin Pin, Manya Game, Min Pin, Manya Game, Dr. Ida Odinga. To the county secretaries who are here, and the former county secretaries, to the deputy, to the leader of the minority in the National Assembly, and to the members of Parliament who are here, and to the County Member of Parliament, Dr. Christine Ombaka, Governor Emeritus of the great county of Kakamega, Wycliffe Ambesa Oparanya. To the Governor Emeritus of Siaya County, Woodruth Kone Rasanga. You will excuse me because I must say a word in Luo. Then I'll say the rest in English. Jothurwa wa yiko woi ma katasani wan kisunga kode okon kisunga kode woi mokelo piny mangima igem donge uneno mogolo Uhuru Kenyatta midwano Uhuru Kenyatta ni maliel mokobare dengo uneno Uhuru Kenyatta ka to kendo okelo jatendwa miluongo Raila Amolo Odinga. Omiyo ma oken liel okadho ka, oken liel okadho ka. Omiyo akwau kuonde muaye luoruru mineu, Luoru mineu. Min Magoha manonyuolo Magoha. Moiko bieche igem ka. Emomiyo Magoha koro waduoko kama min mare bene wikie. Emomiyo wacho ni od meru kata chwer. Od meru kata chwer. Od meru kata chwer. Ten odu. Mane odu. Be unjo gima kelo no. Joge unjo gima kelo no. Game kae. Game onyuolo thuondi. Game onyuolo thuondi. Game ka edag somo. Wateru nyithindo somo mondo wanyuol Magoha moro. Magoha ko anono owenwa daktari bende. Mabro chiedhowa. Game onyuolo kil manokwongo e Kenya mangima. Miluongo nangi Agwenge Kodhek. To profese kopo ni bolo kidika to dipo kigo wi profesa. Omiyo game ka ki ng'ato wuondi ni nyalo wite kidi ka ji riek motamre gi nono. Mar ariyo, jothurwa, akwawu nyaka wabed gi chiemo. Nyaka wabed gi chiemo e miechwa. Jaluo chon ne wacho no kachiem dala u. Nika jaluo na nigi chiemo. Jaluo na nigi chiemo. Omiyo adwaro an kaka ne umiya teko nabed gavana ma Siaya. Adwaro ni kwaluo tim profesa mane jachieth kendo scholar. Wabed gi chiemo e dala. Maka welo biro kako biro ni to an gi chiemo ma omiyogi. Emomiyo sama koth dwa chwe ni koluwore gi teko ma Raila Amolo Odinga omiya, wakelo tingni e Siaya kendo tingni osedonjo i game. Tich ariyo nitie tingni manyien mabiro. Tawacho ni kitiyo gi tingano to iyudo kodhi nono, kodhi iyudo nono. En tinga ma pesa we mong'iewo. En kodhi ma pesa we mong'iewo. Katieko gi dholuo, piny ilaro. Wow, jowa mang'eny osedhi loko walaro piny. Agwenge Kodhek waiko ka. Mboya obiro iko Agwenge ka, Mboya bende onindo. Uko bende onindo. Odhiambo Mbai bende onindo. Omiyo kama intie, ero wadu kaka iheri iwuon. Kik idhi kamoro mikuodhe jadala u kata ng'atu moro. Mana wacho. Ya, Dr. Buru be odonjo. Dr. Buru Oginga Senator bende odonjo. Aning'eyo sama koro waloso kwa chap piny. Kendo adwani jagemi wuoth kichap piny. Kijaluo tiwuoth kichap piny. Mondo wanen legacy ma Magoha wawe legacy machalo nade. An gimomiyo amor go Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta has left a legacy. A very important legacy. If you have eyes to see, I invite you to see. If you have ears to hear, I invite you to hear.
when President Uhuru Kenyatta was talking about affordable housing, I read somewhere when Uhuru Kenyatta was pronouncing himself on policies of the government of the Republic of Kenya, and he talked about affordable housing. Those who are talking about Uhuru Kenyatta, I have never heard anyone criticizing affordable housing. And affordable housing is also coming to Siaya. It's coming because that's a policy that is engraved in the constitution and in the law and in the budget of the land. And therefore I ask you, as the people of Game and the people of Nyanza, we must live in this land called Kenya, knowing that we are citizens of Kenya, that are taxpayers and are ready to play their part in the development of the Republic of Kenya. And therefore, in that regard, let us not kill what those who founded this nation, those who founded this nation. I'm afraid the way we are going, we may even kill multi-party. We may even kill multi-party. But that is a subject for another day. So, ana wachoni waikreni tich kendo Kenya en piny moriwo ji duto te. Nobody is above the law. Nobody is under the law. We are all equal before the Lord as we are equal before the Creator. And this conversation we must continue. Therefore, I'll conclude by saying, Dr. Barbara, you came to this village coming from many miles. Let Africa not have any walls. We just want bridges. Nigerians are our brothers. Ugandans are our brothers. And we only pray for peace in our neighborhood and in our land. Gimago mawacho, mabeyo modonyo nite kao. Tomo kiero to wachini. Give me this opportunity now to call upon.
Yes, wait. Once again.
Yeah, before I call the next speaker, I want the leader of the minority, Honorable Pio Wandai, to come here. Okay.
To the clergy, the family of Professor Magoha, His Excellencies Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, fellow mourners, I'm here to join you in sending off this distinguished son of Kenya, who has indeed left great legacy that all of us are going to be proud of. It's also an occasion for us to undertake an introspection as Kenyans. That is it possible for us to continue with the good work that Magoha was doing? Or can we use this occasion to sue for unity of the country? Or can we use this occasion to reflect upon the deeds that all of us have been known for? The challenge is upon us. So I convey my condolences and the condolences of all members of the National Assembly from the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. One Kenya Coalition Party. Tokati yeko. Tanyakawache kimora beni. One kakajoluo. One kakajoluo. Kotel nwa jate ndwa chiel. Maen Raila Amolo Odinga. Maen Raila Amolonga. Wachung kar tiendwa. Kendo wachung gichir. Kawang'eyo ni wane buopend chike mane Raila gi osiepe na moko kedoni. Kaka jimo wacho, wan gi nyadhi. Nikech wan ok wachiem ka ng'ato. Ok kamano. Wan ok wachiem ka ng'ato. Kendo ng'ata maparo ni sani koro siasa mar baba oduogo piny. En ng'ama leko. Ok kamano. One solidly behind baba. Kamonyiso wan wachome temo wadhiye. Konyiso wan left, right, about turn. Nyasaye madigwedhi erokamano ahinya.
Erokamano intellectual. Kora duoko microphone ni Master of Ceremonies Osiepwa Rafael Tuju. Erokamano.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. On behalf of the family once again, I take this moment to invite CS Owalo to come and read the message of condolence from His Excellency President William Ruto. Thank you very much, CS, for coming, and we appreciate your presence here. And by the same token, I know there's going to be a vote of thanks, but we want to acknowledge the assistance that we have received from the government of Kenya. We also want to acknowledge the assistance that we received from the Prime Minister, and we want to acknowledge the assistance and kind support also we received from His Excellency the 4th President, and all the support that we have received from current cabinet secretaries and former cabinet secretaries. Thank you, sir.
The Magoha family, led by Dr. Barbara and ably assisted by Dr. Michael, the 4th President of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and Mama Aida, the church, members of parliament present, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Indeed, I've known this family for close to 30 years. When I was doing my A-level studies at St. Mary's Yala here, where I was also a head student, I came to know the late Justice Masime. And by extension in the process, I also came to know the Magoha family. Mzee John Obari, who was speaking here, was a very close friend to a distinguished son of game by the name S.M. Owino-Gere, who was then one of the most accomplished lawyers in this country. I did get to know Owino-Gere through Mr. Obari, and when I went to Nairobi for the first time in the year 1990, the person I was living with is the late Owino-Gere. So I can say or state without fear of contradiction that I owe the people of Game, and by extension the Magoha family, a great debt of gratitude. Indeed, when reports circulated in the social media that Professor Magoha had passed on, and I was alerted by one of my staff in the office, I thought it was in reference to the brother. But those reports persisted. So I did call Dr. Aloch, who actually confirmed to me that Professor Magoha had passed on about 5 minutes before then. Subsequently, I sent a text message to President William Ruto, who was out of the country, to alert him of Professor Magoha's death. And indeed, he called me back within a couple of minutes to confirm whether it was true that Professor Magoha had actually passed on, because it was barely 2 weeks when we were with him at State House. So I confirmed the same to him, and he told me, or he instructed me, to reach out to the Deputy President on his behalf to get further guidance as to how the current government and by extension cabinet could respond to that sad state of affairs. I was instructed by the Deputy President then to reach out to the family so that we could collectively become part and parcel of the preparations of that sad journey. So when I went to the family residence in Lavington, I had consultations with Dr. Barbara and son Michael and the Member of Parliament Elisha, and they did actually make certain requests to the government, which I relayed back, and I'm happy to report that all that the Magoha asked for at that point in time by way of logistical support from the government of the Republic of Kenya indeed acceded to and went ahead to execute with precision. Two, I convey my personal condolences to the family. We have lost a great scholar. We have lost a renowned medic. We have lost an astute professional. This is not just a loss to the people of Game, but to the entire country and by extension, the global medical fraternity. Because Professor Magoha has achieved almost all that a human being can achieve in life, I would say that what we need to do today is to join the family in celebrating his life. May I now, ladies and gentlemen, with permission from the congregation, take the distinguished honor and privilege to read the message of condolences from Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya. And I proceed. Message of condolence by His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya, to the family of the late Professor George Omore Magoha. To Dr. Barbara Magoha, your son Dr. Michael Magoha, the extended Magoha family, and to the entire community of Umira village and Nyamninia, to the wider Nyanza family, and to the people of Kenya who are touched at a personal level by the reason we are here today. I received the sad news of the sudden passing on of Professor George Albert Omore Magoha on 24th January 2023 with total surprise and disbelief. I wanted to believe that it was fake news in the post-truth times that we live in today. I tried to wish it away as a bad dream, but it was neither fake news nor a passing bad dream. We are all therefore slowly coming to terms with the harsh reality. The cruel hand of death has plucked from our midst one of our finest. We have lost an amazing person whom we have variously known as a colleague, a friend, a relative, a role model, and a mentor. Accordingly, we join the Magoha family here today for the final send-off. We have come here to bid farewell to a fallen national hero. Our departed friend has been the kingpin of this family and an icon for the rest of us. It is most difficult season for the family and friends, ladies and gentlemen, and I join myself with the Magoha family in your mourning. Poleni sana. I have had the privilege to know Professor Magoha from very close. Among other things, I served with him in the last cabinet. He was also the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi when I was the Minister for Higher Education. And our paths have also met in many other edifying places and ways. In all these, he leaves me with fond memories. I have known Professor Magoha as a most fascinating patriot who loved his country and enjoyed serving it. Professor Magoha loved doing his work. He had no half measures. He put his whole heart and his whole being into everything that he did. And he believed in whatever he did. If he did not believe in it, he did not even begin doing it, ladies and gentlemen. The patriot occupied large space everywhere he went. Those who got to know him well will remember him as the one man who believed in the possibility of a perfect universe. But Professor Magoha did not just believe that a perfect universe was possible. He spent his entire life and energy working towards the realization of this perfect universe. He will be remembered as a spirited go-getter. This focused gentleman did his utmost to rally teams around beliefs and causes. He set out to lead them to achieve the goals, and in the process, Professor Magoha turned out to be an astute administrator and institutional leader. He was an outstanding surgeon and a professional role model. As a scholar, he researched and published widely. He was faithful to the academic credo of his times, publish or perish. As a visionary scholar and leader, his towering dreams have been immortalized in his numerous research papers and in the iconic varsity towers at the University of Nairobi, which he believed was the only university in Kenya. He dedicated 12 duty as cabinet secretary, saw him set out to keep our children in school. He roamed in the villages in the countryside, looking for dropout children and returning them to the classroom. He visited individual homes in the slums and informal settlements to find out why children were not in school. He was at his happiest whenever he tracked down one child and returned them to school. Professor Magoha loved order, industry, and results. Once his eyes were fixed on the final prize, nothing could sway or discourage him. He was especially impatient with laziness and irresponsibility. He could not entertain mediocrity. He would speak plainly when taking to task the lazy and the irresponsible. He especially had no time for avoidable slowness of mind. He did not hesitate to call out the culprit in plain language. I will always remember Professor Magoha as a thought leader, an energetic worker, a frank man who did not know how to mince his words. I will recall him as a compassionate colleague who stood with those around him in difficult times, and as a conciliator who believed in dialogue as the best intervention in cases of conflict. I will remember his focus, great sense of humor, and his attention to sense of occasion too. Such is the kind of person we have come to pay our last respects to, fellow Kenyans. A man who grew to be bigger than the family space could hold, nor could this village hold. Nyanza could not hold him, game could not hold him, and indeed Kenya could not hold him, and Kenya didn't. Magoha was a citizen of Africa and the entire world. He now belongs to the ages and rests with the sages. We who believe in resurrection and eternity know that he has moved on to everlasting consciousness. We therefore thank God for his life and for the promise of the life to come in the foreseeable future. We thank God for giving to us Professor Magoha and for the privilege of having been a part of this universe in this life. We certainly look forward to meeting him again in resurrection. Meanwhile, Dr. Barbara and the entire Magoha family, I say once again, poleni sana. May God wipe away your tears and sorrow. May he cause you to smile and laugh again. And may Professor George Albert Omore Magoha soul find perfect rest and peace in eternity. Amen. Dated this 11th day of February, the year 2023, William Samoei Ruto, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Waziri Owalo, Eliud Owalo. Thank you. In our program now, we're almost coming to an end. It's my privilege and honor to invite President Uhuru will not believe this. I'll invite my uncle, Prime Minister Raila Odinga.
Thank you. Thank you. This is not good. Hello? No, not bad. Mama Barbara Magoha, my brother President Uhuru Kenyatta, the clergy, fellow monarchs, hamjambo. We've come to pay tribute and farewell to a great Kenyan. And I want to say without fear of contradiction that right inside that coffin lies a great man. We have come because of the tragedy that has befallen us. Shakespeare said in Julius Caesar that cowards die many times before their death, but the brave do not taste of death but once. So let it be with George. A lot has already been said about George, and I want to basically confirm that everything that has been said about George is true. I came to know George when he was still a young man, because his elder brother was spoken here, John Obaretula Udalonyo More. We mokmede moro. These are the people who received me when I came back from Europe, in Nairobi. John, his other late cousin Rangela Odundo, Michael Kinyanyi, Javan Chavanga, Okachurmon Bondo. Those are the people who received me in Nairobi and showed me the way of Nairobi. They're the ones who took me to the Ngong races, kupiga farasi. And it is through that relationship that I got to know Professor. He was then a student at the Strathmore College, and a very diligent student, as you can see from his record. He excelled academically, but he was a very, very humble person. Humility was his way of life. He recognized everybody. Some people say that Magoha was arrogant. I say no. Magoha was just a straight-talking person. And if people don't like sometimes to hear the truth, he will say it the way he's saying it. You love it or not, but you say it. And he has excelled, as you have seen, wherever he's been, wherever he has gone to. That's why when my brother one time asked me, what do you think about this man? Do you think he can make a good minister for education? I had no hesitation saying, yes, this fellow will not disappoint you. And he did, as the president is going to confirm to you, he did not disappoint in that position. He has done a lot of things in his career, as a medical doctor, as a teacher, and as a minister. So all those are actually recorded there. I don't want to repeat them. But it was something, and people were actually, some of his colleagues around say, oh, Magoha is not helping us. He's not helping the Luos in the field of academia. Magoha would say that, look, I don't need to help Luos. The only way I can help Luos is ensuring that there is a level playing field. There's no cheating in examinations. And then the Luos will excel. Given opportunity, equal opportunity, will excel. So I want to give equality, set a standard for each and every Kenyan child to be able to acquire quality education. And this he did very well. So I am proud to have been associated with Magoha. As you've been told, their mother comes from my village. I used to call him Uruwaya. And he has been somebody who is rare in his words, he speaks very, very few words, but he does more things, and what he does has been seen. That's why I'm happy that so many people have come today here to witness his last wedding. And we were given an honor that is given to a Luo hero. A Luo hero is mourned the way we are mourned. The Nigerians, I will tell you, because they also do the same thing in their own country, that if you want to see, you know how this is done. There's a book written by the late Paramount Chief Palmboya, Jadung Madung Otho. How do you mourn him? And that is how we have mourned him today, as a great hero of the Luo community. This place, as we've already been told, is the citadel of education in Luo land. The late Paramount Chief Odera Kango, the pioneer of education here. And because of that, the Game people went to school much earlier than other people. And they all the time very proud that in the Game we are teeming with intellectuals. People don't throw stones. But if you throw a stone, you're likely to hit a professor or a doctor or a lawyer. But I think these days other parts of Ruland have also caught up. But that's why I'm also proud to be a son-in-law here. Okan giboshinaka, gimerinabi, gioshinabi, okamano. Miana kawuna mor, biru mona bedu kudu kawuno, kawako wudu marandiga. Oka wudu marandiga. Kawuno kawachu mechi mangeni. Abrulosu kudu ching machielo. Abrulosu ching machielo. Tungeo. Hello? Ungen tiwi nyariyo. Moro nti lungo ni ajula julu. To moro lungo ni hunduwe. Ajula julu kibina ajula julu nyise kubanonyo wala. To otimo nango. Okosiemo. Lo nyiso kamano. To hunde beriambo. Hunde beriambo. Ajula julu nyincho wacho nyiso kubanonyo luwe. To hunde bende. Okoye kuhunde be wacho. Hunde be ko wacho koso. Emo mian kadwa na los kawuono. Kawuono wadu pudia men. Tikono na yie. Miakori. Wayi kodi. Okamano. Toka no puda men koso. Okono puda men. Toka no puda men. Toka ne wayi. Okene wayi. Toka ne na modi. Okene no kakopin. Okene no kakopin. Aburo loso kudu bangela mangai yime kuche. ana wacho jothuro kama wantie ni wanyakre keke jawamono chumotegno nikech ang'eyo kumadwano madhiye ni wuoth motegno ok odwar ji mandhoke winja jothurwa winja wadhi adhiya kaka wadhi chang'en wadhi chopo tandhoke odhi tengi jimathundi madwana wuoth go kende uyie kamano jothurwa uyie kurabe muna kawo thuolo ni so that I can invite another friend of Professor, my brother Uhuru Kenyatta.
Asante sana. The clergy that is leading us in today's celebration, Mama Dr. Barbara Magoha, your wonderful son Dr. Michael and his wife, the extended Magoha family, my brother, my friend, my party leader, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, fellow mourners, we are here to join you today to celebrate the life of a great son of this country. Professor George Magoha was a man that many may say was before his time. A man committed to education, a man committed to enlightenment, a man who neither saw color, tribe, region, or country, but saw each and every person as his brother and sister, entitled to equality, not only before the eyes of God, but in law, and most importantly, for Professor Magoha, in terms of access to education. I had an opportunity to work with Professor Magoha. I had an opportunity to interact severally with Professor Magoha, especially at a time when we were going through very difficult times in the education sector. Many of you will recall the numerous cases of exam cheating that used to take place. And when Magoha's term as Vice Chancellor of Nairobi University came to an end, I requested him, because of what I had seen in terms of his contribution to Nairobi University, to take on the role of heading the National Examination Council. And under his leadership, at that time, together with Professor Matiangi, they saw the eradication of cheating in our national exams. And they brought sanity and quality back to exams and to our education system. Hiyo kazi yote ilikuwa ya huyu mzee ambaye amelala hapa mbele yetu.
As if that was not enough, we continued to work together. When I appointed him as a cabinet secretary for education. And again, a milestone for Kenya under his leadership of the ministry. For the very first time, and the first country in sub-Saharan Africa, Magoha managed to move the transition rate from primary to secondary education to 100%. Kazi ya huyu mzee ambaye amelala hapa. Making sure that no child was left without an opportunity for education. Making sure that no child ended his education in standard 8 because of lack of fees or facilities. That was his commitment to education. That was his commitment to the children of this country. He went further, and as minister working with his colleagues in East Africa, proceeded to work to develop curricula, to develop standards for universities that are now emulated not only in the East African community, but also in other countries like Malawi and Zambia and others who wanted to learn from him. But more importantly, as I said the other day, he also took on the challenge of refreshing our curriculum to make it better suited to help our children face the challenges of the future. And this he did not because of politics, but because he believed in it. And if truly what everybody has said here is what they mean, because I have sat and listened to so many eulogies here about what a wonderful man lies before us today, what a great giant lies before us today, then implement what he started and let this country benefit from what he worked so hard to achieve: less politics and more work. That is who Magoha was. And that is what we shall remember of him. And for us, we have lost a friend, we have lost a partner, we have lost a colleague, and we have lost a great giant of this country. And ours today is just to stand with you, Mama Barbara, to stand with your family, to stand with the extended family. The same way Magoha stood with us, we shall also stand with you to the very end. To the people of Gem, be proud to have produced giants such as the one who lies before us. And you are known to produce giants. So musilale, muendelee na kazi, mutuletee wengine, na wengine, na wengine. Tujenge taifa letu la Kenya. Ama namna gani? Tumekubaliana? Na vile Magoha aliishi, vile nimesema, bila kuangalia kabila, bila kuangalia dini, bila kuangalia rangi. Hata bibi ametembea, ametoa kule Nigeria, ametuletea hapa. Viongozi tuache ukabila, tupendane kama Wakenya, tujenge nchi yetu pamoja na tuweze kujadiliana pamoja, tuwe na Kenya ambaye itakuwa ya kufana na ambaye kila Mkenya anatoshea na kila Mkenya anafurahia. Ama ni namna gani wenzangu? Ni hivyo. Hiyo ndiyo njia ya kumkumbuka ndugu yetu, rafiki yetu, na tunauliza Mwenyezi Mungu amlaze pahali pema, Mwenyezi Mungu amurehemu, Mwenyezi Mungu aendelee kubariki familia yake, jamii yake, wananchi wa game na wananchi wa Kenya kwa jumla. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much.
Finally, thank you, Your Excellency, for your very gracious remarks about our brother, our departed brother. Dr. Michael Magoha and your beautiful wife, who I met. Michael, I have nothing to say. It's your turn now.
There are so many people here, clergy, distinguished guests, fellow mourners. If I could have your attention for a bit. I've been struggling to come here, but this time I do realize I prayed for this, and I realized he would want me to say something. So this wouldn't be for me. This would be what he would want me to tell you at this point. And it might offend some, it might be boring for others, but you'll know that it's coming from him. So, the first thing I keep hearing, you know this is not supposed to be a political event, but the reason is people forget the reason why my father would say that. It's because deep down, and it has been said before, he believed everybody was the same. And he thought things like politics, tribe, all of that stopped people from being the best version of themselves. He thought that if anybody ever focused on that, they forgot on just doing what they're supposed to do and being the best version of themselves. So that's one thing I'm happy that everybody's here, and you can tell, those who remember him, those who spend time with him, they always say it always comes back, and for that, I'm very grateful and very respectful. So that's the first thing. There are two things I have to say. Sorry, let me calm down. So there are three types of knowledge. There's explicit knowledge. This is where somebody has to tell you directly what to do. This is what you expect all the time. Somebody comes and tells you, do this, do this, do this, and you think you'll be learning. The second is implicit knowledge. This you're not told. This you watch, you look around, and you learn what to do. You learn how to react. You learn how to carry yourself. And then the last one, which has really hit me of late, is tacit knowledge. Tacit knowledge, you will be told time and time again by many different people, but you don't realize how important it is until you are there at that time. And that keeps on coming. And I think that was the strength of my father. It's because he was brash, he was straightforward, he was not perfect, but he taught me it doesn't matter what a person is. What matters at the end of the day is what they do. And I'll repeat the same thing that I want you to take back. He always let everybody be the best version of themselves. If he ever saw you be a bit better, he would never let you go back. He would shout at you, he would tell you this, he would challenge you. If anything happened in your life, he completely switched and tried to help you come back up. And with that, he got very many different strange friends, and I think that that's a blessing. And that's the second thing that I want to say. And the last thing which keeps on coming is this idea of shoes to fill, etc. What's very strange is I've known my father through many different phases. But it seems the one that people will remember is the cabinet secretary, because that was the last one towards the end. But I remember of all of his different phases, the things that excited him were never the position. The thing that excited him was the ability to do something. And I remember this story came to me yesterday, and I started smiling. It was the first time the results came out, and he got the call when he found out where number one came from. And I can't remember, it was this young girl. And I remember he was with me at the time, and he was so happy because it has been said here, it's because he was able to give somebody a chance. And I think that's what needs to be remembered. He believed everybody was the same, and he always believed he would fight to give you the chance to do as much as you can for everyone. And I think everybody should try and remember that as we keep moving. And with the last thing, and this goes to everybody from all walks of life, anybody who's here, and this is the thing I keep hearing his voice that would be telling me to say, is right now at this point, he wouldn't be too happy that everybody's focusing on the man. He would be happier in people focusing on the deeds. He would know that he was great, but what he would say is this, and he would tell me this: I understand it's well wishes if you keep telling me that I have big shoes to fill. He would laugh because he knows, and he has trained me, that is not the point. The point is for me to do my best, and if I see if I can help, I will try and help and make everybody be equal. I know that's my job. But the point that everybody else is missing, don't focus on him. Focus on what he would want. And what he would want is very simple. I don't have big shoes to fill. We all have big shoes to fill. This is for all of you. Wherever you go, start now. Be honest, try your best, upset people, but be forthright. You don't have to be the best person in the world. You don't have to be the nicest person in the world. But you know what you can do? You can give everybody an equal chance in whatever it is that you do. And if you do that, you will be honoring the memory of my father. So thank you all.
I'm going to ask the choir to give us a small interlude of music as I acknowledge what Dr. Michael Magoha has just said. Among the celebrants here, with your permission, is Father Ben Agunga, one of my cousins. Ben, please do stand up. Father Ben Agunga is one of those people that Professor Magoha took to school. And you can see Ben Agunga and the late brother of Professor Arnold Agunga, who we buried 2 years ago. It's the same family. Now, Ben lost both his parents. How old were you? 12. How old were you then?
I was 20.
Yeah, he was a very young boy. I know there's another of his brother and sister who are here. He educated all those four children until now. You have one with a PhD, one is a lawyer, one is a successful business person in Mombasa, and one is a Catholic priest. That is the man who is lying down here. Thank you, Father. Thank you. Please, an interlude of music. Dr. Odudu Barbara Magoha, it's your time now to talk to us. Miuru Thuolo, Mrs. Dr. Barbara Magoha Mondo Olosi, and Makuseloso to Watieko program no, wa hand over ne priest. God strength.
It's my strength. It's my strength. I'll hold something.
The bells, you want one of the bells in the ear with you?
No, I'm okay. Is it on?
It's on.
It's okay. Your Excellency, the 4th President of Kenya, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, the clergy, all other protocols observed. Fellow mourners, welcome to the home of professors. First of all, I want to apologize to the Wananchi about what happened yesterday when there was a little fracas when I went into the home. Some people don't know that it's a Luo custom that when the widow opens the gate, the mourners are allowed to enter and mourn. So the gates were closed, and I could understand the pain of the mourners. And I'm extremely sorry for that. My husband was a classy man, and I hope that today that mantle will fall on the same people who came to mourn yesterday, that they will now continue in that same fashion of being classy because they stopped being rowdy. And as we go to inter my husband this afternoon, please come home, sit down and mourn, but please let it be in a classy fashion. No rowdiness. I really appreciate that. And as you know, the interment site cannot accommodate all of us, but the field can accommodate. So please, 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 let it be the inner Magoha family. We are so many. In Africa, we don't count children, but the Magohas are huge enough to feel where the gravesite will be. And I will crave your indulgence to please allow the Magohas pay their last respects to their father, their second father, a friend, and a confidant. Sorry, I have to go through because I need to make certain facts clear. Some cultures are good, and some things we have to emulate. And there are others, as time goes by, we'll have to give up. There's a saying in my language that says, if nobody gives you advice, look around and advise yourself. That's the only way you can grow. People were upset, some astonished that I did not wail and cry to enter the home. Sorry to let you down, my new position in the family does not give me such privilege to do public display of emotions. I'm a Nigerian. I was born a Nigerian. I'll be buried a Kenyan. In between, I'm a Malian. I mourned my husband the Nigerian way, because when you are in distress, you go back to the womb, and the first language was my Anna. I mourned him in my own way. I did my songs of lamentation in church, at the hospital. Now, according to our custom, I had to mourn my husband in two ways. My husband was more than 70 years, the number of years that the good Lord has allocated to us. So from there, the farther away you are from 70, the more the rejoicing. It's not tears. Please celebrate with my husband. I brought him home as the custom. As the new head of the home, I had to welcome him and receive his blessings. They say dead men, they see and they hear. And he heard me, he saw me. They say my husband does not smile, but everybody who has seen him knows that that's a smiling face that has left the world. And that's what I want people to remember. He smiled that he gave hope to the hopeless. It's not the certificates. It's not who he was, but what he gave. People wondered what gave him strength. When he had a Kikuyu woman holding his hands and praying, a Kalenjin holding his hands and praying, and all he's asking is, what is he saying? They're saying, God bless you. Okay. And he would stop whatever he was doing to receive those prayers. Those were the things that gave him courage. Those were the things that gave him strength. He didn't have to take multivite for them. That was just his multivite. And I remember during COVID, that was the most trying time for our family, a family of doctors. And I told him, if this is the way you are supposed to go, there's nothing anybody can do about it. You can't sit down and mourn because it's COVID, you can't do your work. You're afraid to die. Cowards die many times before their death. And we were prepared as a family, whatever comes in the course of duty. God saved him. He went through that. He took all the precautions though. But if it was his time, he wouldn't have made it. So for me, I've accepted he's gone. And I've accepted that I can take over the new role that he has given me. In his life, he was governed by the three pillars. His God that made him, Starehe that molded him, and the medical world that shaped him. And that is why the three have played a vital role in sending him off. And I'm extremely grateful for the three who have accompanied us until the last day. As a wife, I supported him in so many ways. But one thing I like to say is that as a Calabar woman, I never let him down. He ate my food until the last day. For 40 good years, nobody else ate my husband's food. I cooked with all I'm so busy, but whether I'm in the country or not, it was my food that he ate. So on a parting shot, I want to say thank you to everybody who has come, and please let the last steps be as quiet as this. Thank you.
We now invite all of us to stand as we are about to start the Mass. We are all now invited to stand as we are about to start the Mass. Before we start the Mass, I may only like to make everyone aware of the battery of the clergy that are here, a sign of how Prof was so religiously connected just like Daktari has said. We are sorry to also tell you the Archbishop Maurice Muhatia Makumba would have loved to be here, but he had an appointment that he could not hand over. He sends his apology. He is with the family in prayers, and he told me when opportunity avails itself, he will come personally to the family and pay his respect, because he was very well known to the professor, and shortly before Professor passed on, they had very many intimate discussions. At the very end, we have Father Collins Odiero, who is the parish priest Bondo. We have Father Felix Atinda, who is the parish priest at Ramba Kanyameda in Kisumu, and was a very close worker with the professor. He gave us the homily yesterday. We have Father Matthews Omogo, the parish priest Rangala. We have Father Stephen, who is a son who came here coming from Gina, but a parish priest in Tamu. We have Father Hagunga, who is a religious and is working in Don Bosco, the Don Bosco priest, and also a relative to Professor. We have Father Rasare, who is a parish priest in Bondo, a place called Kibuye, Madiany rather, sorry, Madiany, I'm sorry, Father, Madiany in Uyoma, and the Deacon Charles is from St. Pantaleons, St. Ramba. And then we have Father Edmond Onyango, who one time was a parish priest here and also worked closely with the professor. We have Father Cosmas Ragot, who is the Vice Chancellor at Auzima University of the Catholic Archdiocese of Kisumu, which professor was a very bona fide member, and he had it very close. Indeed, in one of my talking with him, he said, if you had to continue being in Maseno, you would have been very instrumental to the Auzima University College. We have Father George Odhiambo, who also was a parish priest here sometime and was a very close friend to the professor, and they had a lot of discussions with him, and we shall ask him to preach for us today. And at the end there, we have Father Michael Olila, who is staying at our clergy house in Kisumu, and we also the sisters and many other religious leaders from different walks of life. I am called Father Clement Oluoch Goro. I am the parish priest of St. Peter Clever Yala, and by extension, I'm the chaplain of St. Mary's School Yala, where our Prof was the chair of the board of the BOM until his demise. During that time, I had quite very close discussions with him, interaction. Many of them you have said, and three things: he was so humble in his academic work. However prowess he was in many ways, I learned a lot of humility from him. I learned so much about the life of being so religious, yet you are a lay person. I learned a number of things, even the jokes, and I agree with Dr. Barber. Professor had got a lot of jokes to make if you knew how he would talk. And he gave us a very nice talk about the DNA. That would be a story for another day, we shall tell you. And above all, I also learned something about obedience from him. There was one time he was supposed to come and see me in the parish, and he had been sent by His Excellency the President